Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Pitch Shift episode of 2021, which is what I would say if time worked differently. Because I started saying that, and then I'm like, wait, no, we recorded the one going into the next year, so...
Close enough.
So, in theory, I could not, unless I messed with temporal space, I could not have traveled back in time and then done it beforehand. Welcome to Ramble Hour.
Well, welcome to Ramble On, the Led Zeppelin podcast.
We've been sued already. But, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pitch Shift. As you can see, we've got our special guest, Brendan Fraser, here. You might be saying, hey, that looks nothing like Brendan Fraser.
It looks like I'm now.
You might be saying, that looks like a demon. Please get that out of the shot. And I'd agree with you normally. But I set up all three of these cameras to very specifically, you cannot escape it. It's in all three of them. So I'm leaving it up.
He does look like Brendan Fraser in Monkeybone specifically. Like when Monkeybone possesses him.
Well, he does play him. I keep forgetting... I didn't know Chris Kattan and Brendan Fraser were different people for a while because they look quite similar in that movie.
They sound the same.
Yeah, well, that and they both got the makeup, and I'm like, yeah, prior to Brendan Fraser's life falling apart, those two could have really passed for each other in one specific movie and probably nowhere else.
And considering that Chris Kattan is dead, now Brendan Fraser and Chris Kattan do look eerily similar.
Is Chris Kattan dead?
No, in the movie.
Okay.
Like, he's a gymnast that got killed in a car accident or something.
No, I knew that, but I was just like, you said Chris Kattan, the actor. And not that anybody's going to remember any of the characters from Monkeybone.
Yeah.
That was Henry Selick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is that why you brought up Henry Selick the other day?
It is why
I
I
have
brought it
no
up.
track of why we do anything.
I googled Henry Selick, and then it said, people also ask, is Coraline schizophrenic?
Is Coraline schizophrenic? Did Tim Burton make Nightmare Before Christmas? Who made The Nightmare Before Christmas? And it's like it was like the same person just progressively getting more desperate. It's like, did Tim Burton make The Nightmare Before Christmas? Shit. Who made The Nightmare Before Christmas? Tell me.
It was Henry Selick being in a fit of insecurity.
In terms of, this is not really related to anything other than Henry Selick, so I'm just gonna say it now. Unpopular opinion, I prefer Coraline to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it's less Hot Topic-y.
Yeah.
It's probably just because Hot Topic by that point was so fucking like... I shouldn't even say just all mass-produced shit, because like fucking a movie owned by Disney isn't mass-produced.
Yeah.
And,
No, this is hip underground culture, man. You don't get it, you fucking boomer.
There's just always all those hats and stuff where they're just like Jack Skellington on it. Like, if there is a way to put Jack Skellington on something, Hot Topic fucking did it.
Hell yeah.
But the reason we're talking about Henry Selick...
Bone Daddy.
The reason we're talking about Bone Daddy...
And Tom Selleck.
...is the reason we're talking about Tom Selleck's mustache. The reason we're talking about Henry Selick is because he directed the movie Monkeybone, which stars Brendan Fraser.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy. Hello, everybody.
For those listening to the audio only, imagine Brendan Fraser's just sitting right behind us.
Just ominously not even sitting, just standing behind the couch in my robe. But he's hi everybody, I'm Brendan Fraser, star of the hit movies Monkeybone and Blast from the Past and nothing else.
Anybody got a cigarette?
Actually, yeah, let's give him a cigarette.
Hell yeah. Smoke up, boy.
And then light the felt puppet on fire. Is it felt? I don't know. I'll have to ask my brother.
He's never felt so alive.
But that's probably going to fall out at some point. Neither of us are going to notice, and then I'm just going to find it cleaning my room in a year. But, so anyway, God knows if all that's staying in. We're talking about this because it's our Brendan Fraser episode. And if you're asking what sort of specific event or something like that inspired this, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who the fuck is Brendan Fraser, so is he right now.
He's on an upswing right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's in Doom Patrol. He's pretty good. I'd say he's one of the main reasons to watch Doom Patrol.
Yeah, Robot Man.
Yeah, show's pretty good outside of that, but it's a bit. I started more seriously watching it. A bit juvenile at first, but once it hits its stride, it's like I'm just so amazed. I'm like, they're doing so well on so many fronts. Why can't DC make good fucking movies?
Because they want to give money to a crazy guy to keep making the same movie over and over again and giving projects to someone that doesn't understand the source material.
Well, I like that quote from that people got upset about from some Warner Brothers exec where he said, "Yeah, no, we're not. The Zack Snyder stuff stops at the Snyder Cut. We're not like investing any more money in this." And everyone's like, "Oh no, we need to make sure he can finish his complete cinematic vision." It's like I think he wants to go make zombie movies in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like I heard the plot synopsis of Army of the Dead. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah. do that.
I hope it gets Neil Breen.
I hope Zach just resorts to the point where he has to be in all of his own movies. I can't believe Superman committed suicide. I can't believe Snyder-Man committed suicide. It's just to the point where he's playing all of them.
What was that other guy? It was like Alan Resnick or something, where it's like, release the Resnick cut, and it's like, he has nothing to do with that.
Or David Ayer.
That's the one.
Alan Resnick. Yeah, David Ayer was trending today because I guess they released the WB or an HBO Max preview.
Yeah.
And we finally got, despite the fact they've moved it up, we still haven't, they moved it up to like March. We still haven't seen a trailer for Kong vs. Godzilla. And it's directed by the guy who made the Death Note movie.
Oh, yeah.
So people are worried.
Where like Keith Stanfield, my boy, as L.
Yeah, and so I was talking with somebody on Facebook about it, and they're like, yeah, I'm pretty into these movies, and we're all pretty worried about that. And I'm like, that's they probably only showed us a few seconds in that HBO Max trailer, because if they played any more of it, we'd quickly realize that Adam Wingard filled it with 80s soft rock like he did Death Note for some reason. But there's like a slow motion shot of the main character's girlfriend falling from like a Ferris wheel, just the 80s soft rock. I'm like, this is the lamest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Here I am.
That would be amazing if that happened.
If she died on the Tilt-A-Whirl, it'd be even funnier, because that would be playing on the Tilt-A-Whirl.
If actually for a Godzilla vs. Kong movie, if the soundtrack was just entirely the Scorpions, and by that I mean the two songs anybody knows by the Scorpions,
and one of them is a 45-minute MIDI version.
Yes.
Shout outs to V and Fuzo.
Yes. But why did we start talking? Oh, right, HBO Max.
Because we want to know who would win in a fight between King Kong and Godzilla. Now, who would win in a fight between King Kong and Godzilla?
Well, it's hard to say because Godzilla
is like 10 stories tall.
He's like 10 stories tall. He can breathe fire and everything.
But, counterpoint, King Kong is monkey.
That's true.
So I think it's a fairly even matchup.
You probably couldn't hear that. I was clapping against a beer bottle because that's the thing people do. That's a normal behavior.
I mean, if you're not holding a beer and you're clapping along with the beer, or you're having like you're always standing around a pool table or a beer pong match with one singular hand in your pocket with the thumb sticking out, then are you really drinking a beer?
I'm just imagining somebody trying to get somebody's attention like they do with the wine glass, but he's just with a beer, just guys. That could work. Well, then you're just the guy from the Warriors.
Yeah, just fucking. It's like a half full beer and there's like a cigarette butt in it. You're just clanging them together. Just beer spilling everywhere.
You're just at a wedding. You're just like
intervention.
Jim and Jolene come out to play. You're the best man. Stop doing this. But yeah, so they showed a few seconds of Kong. It's literally just that picture we've seen of them fighting on the aircraft carrier. We just saw some of it in motion. And one part was like Godzilla just like sort of monkey crawling out of the water. And I'm like, that's going to look so weird. I can already tell. They showed a brief second of that for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, that's why. And so because of that, I guess people were like, oh, release the air cut. Air cut. You showed HBO Max thing, but there was no air cut.
Yeah, release the Air Jordan cut.
Release the air cut. It's like, what the... Like,
Release Eric Estrada. Free my mans.
It's just become so weird that, like, movie culture lately is like, no, there's a good version of this thing out there, and we gotta find... It's like, sometimes things are just bad, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Move on. Like, that was kind of the thing with just, like, I'm happy that... people were kind of like, what the fuck, when it first came out. I'm happy people aren't still talking about Wonder Woman 84 from what I've seen. Because I'm like, yeah, like, from what I've seen, the people who didn't like it are like, oh, that was weird and bad and I didn't like it. Moving on. I'm like, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
No need to spend weeks talking about it. I already forgot I watched that and I liked it.
Yeah. I'm also surprised that, like, the other camp of, like, oh, you didn't like this because you're a misogynist isn't coming out to the forefront either. It's like everyone's just kind of collectively is like, yeah, that movie was either good or fine and just kind of moved on.
I think it's, well, because even though we've had, like, 4 maybe in recent memory. I think people at this point are like, okay, yeah, female-led superhero movies, that's a thing. We don't need to, like, I think even the people who, like, need to complain about fucking everything are like, nah, I'll just talk about Kathleen Kennedy some more.
Yeah, pretty much.
And surrounded by merch that she directly helped create in my room. That's my favorite thing. It's just like, I one day want to just do a compilation of dudes complaining about Kathleen Kennedy in rooms with, like, Back to the Future and Jurassic Park posters and shit. I'm like, oh, my guy.
It's like that one thing that AVGM was complaining about. It's like, can anyone believe that this piece of shit even came out? And he's like sitting next to a Waterworld poster. Yeah. I don't remember the context of the joke specifically.
He was probably just talking about his kid.
Yeah, probably. Or Mike Matei.
Yeah, he's just like, this piece of shit came out. James, can I leave the basement? No, because you don't have a house. I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, Mike, you don't even like music. Shut up.
What was that thing you said? I think we looked this up on an episode. It was like something like, oh, if you, the skip feature on this new thing that like repackages NES games or something like that. That's not, you're not a true gamer.
The save state, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, who gives, shut up.
Because that's the only claim to fame that he has, aside from like his 13-inch donger, of course.
Yeah, well, I was talking about something related to this with somebody recently, where it's this thing where some people, yeah, that's what I was talking about, nerd gatekeeping specifically, where it's this thing where it's like, I think everybody has that thing that they really like, they're really sort of into more than like most other people would be into it, but most people have other things going on in their life, so that if somebody else starts getting into that thing, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But some people, that's all they have, and they've built their whole identity around it. So like people coming in, it's like, hey, I just started enjoying this. Like, it's like, you cannot just start enjoying a thing. You must have gone back in time and watched it before it even existed. That's what I did.
That's what I did.
No. Go watch our Spider-Man video for context on that.
There's no context on that. He just keeps saying it.
Yeah, that was one of those jokes. I'm just like, this isn't even a joke. There's nothing funny. I just keep putting it in there because something about the way you said it is funny.
It's really fucking funny, yeah. And also the fact that he just looks like Alex Trebek.
And I think that they changed, like, I think the actor for Aunt May and the actor for J. Jonah Jameson, like, were replaced after that episode. And I don't know if it's because both of them died, but I'm hoping it's because both of them died because they looked like they, like, that's
on the precipice of death.
That's the thing where it's like, they shouldn't have been acting. They should have been just like scouting out plots in the cemetery. It's like, you're done.
I think they just pulled them off of the fucking nursing home.
Well, because like Aunt May looked fine, but like Alex Trebek looked like a moldy orange. He had that hair that's like, that doesn't look like hair. That looks like when you forgot something in the fridge.
Yeah, it looks like his hair was dead, and like hair is already dead, but it looked like it was undead hair. Like it looked like he had a hair transplant of a wig.
Yeah, like maybe he read the comics. Maybe he was one of the only people who read the comics, and he's like, "Oh, I'm playing Norman Osborn." No, you're playing J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, Norman Osborn. And he shaved that into his head, and he normally has an afro.
I think the producers just thought he was Stan Lee.
Apparently, I was watching something. Apparently, Stan Lee was supposed to have a cameo in Blade, and they were like, no one knows who Stan Lee is, so they cut him out.
Oh, I just thought he refused to be on screen with a black person.
Yes, this is famous racist Stan Lee. He one of his most rejected pitches was the Klansman. He had the power of hate. But
maybe J. Jonah Jameson got possessed by the spirit of Brendan Fraser after he died, and like Whoopi Goldberg forced him to be in his body, and that's why he was in that movie. Which brings
it all circles back around to the thing we're supposed to be talking about.
Which brings us to our Brendan Fraser Power Hour double feature. Well, technically, it's a single feature because we're having two movies.
Don't forget the surprise. I have a surprise movie for you.
Oh, baby. So we have two of the finest cult classics starring your boy, Brendan Fraser, mashed up into one.
Is it a cult classic? Has anybody ever come around on Monkeybone?
I come on Monkeybone.
I enjoy the aesthetics of Monkeybone, but it's one of those things things were like, I just want to watch half this movie, the parts that's set in the weird Henry Selick world.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is with pacing with that movie, right? Mm-hmm. And like the fact that it's like a comedy, but it's not that funny.
Yeah,
it's just funny enough where you get like a chortle out of it. Like you get like a little like when you're looking at a spicy meme on your phone. You don't get like a laugh out loud like moment to it.
Yeah,
it's also
there were a lot of those in that time period, from what I remember.
It was like 2001. It was a different time. We were all paranoid because of anthrax. We just wanted a lighthearted chuckle, not a laugh out loud, gut busting experience. Like when you go to watch that one movie with Nicolas Cage where he's in 9/11.
I think there was that one movie with, I was actually talking with someone about this recently. There's that one movie called Big Trouble.
Yeah.
From like the 2000s, I think, and it was weird. I was talking to her and because I was talking about Fritos. I was eating chili and I really wanted some Fritos on top of my chili. She's like, "Have you ever seen the movie Big Trouble with Tim Allen?" And I'm like, "But of course."
Oh yeah, there's like a bomb in the airport.
There's a bomb in the airport. Jason Lee's in it, and his character just loves Fritos.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things I remember the most about that movie. And just when she said that, I'm like, wait, I'm not the only fucking person who, like, when they try to remember that movie, they're like, Fritos. I remembered I wanted Fritos afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, for a week straight, I wanted Fritos.
Yeah, good product placement. They did their job.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like, prior to that, it's like, who gave a shit about Fritos? It's like, they're like the lesser, like, they're a corn chip, but they're not something you'd, like, typically eat with salsa and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's why they make, like, Fritos scoops and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Fritos scoopity poop.
But Fritos on top of chili is fucking amazing.
I'm so fucking pissed at Subway just for being a thing, but also because they got rid of...
you can't just put chili on a foot long and then they just hand that to you.
Well, yeah, no, I want
sloppy eel.
Yeah. I would love to oblige, but sadly I am only an eel.
Only a sloppy eel.
So that sounds like something that's definitely on Urban Dictionary, right?
Probably.
The sloppy eel.
Oh, girl, she took me around back and gave me a sloppy eel.
Wait, she gave you a sloppy eel?
Yes.
I was thinking this is some sort of male genitalia-focused sex act.
It can be whatever you want.
Like you pull out of someone's asshole and there's just like shit all over your dick, and then he's like kind of like make your dick flaccid because you see shit on it, and then like you just wiggle your dick around like from the hips down. It's like, oh look, it's my sloppy eel.
You doing that motion just reminded me of you relaying the story of the man who let his dick fly in the wind at the parking lot at the fucking sex shop.
Oh yeah, there's a naked guy I saw at the sex shop when I pulled into work one day, and there was this cop's already in the parking lot. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good day. So I pull in, I'm like, what happened? And the cop's like, yeah, this guy was just naked and he's trying to get this girl's attention. Is there a Daisy that works here? I'm like, as to my knowledge, there's never been a person that works here, and I don't think there ever will be a woman that works here that's named Daisy. And he's like, yeah, that's what I thought. This guy's just crazy, and I feel bad for people with mental illness. He didn't say this right in front of the fucking naked guy. And the naked guy is like in cuffs already. He's like, for whatever reason, his hands were like already in front of him. And he's like, hey man, I just want to let you know I'm not like that. He tried to like fist bump me with his already cuffed hands. I'm like, don't touch me.
I'm not like that. Please put on clothes.
And then I go in and like unlock the store and shit. It's like, that's cool, man. I'm gonna do my thing. And like he stole a bunch of stuff from Giant, like chocolate and wine and ham, and he was just having a grand old time.
Was he still naked then?
Oh yeah, he was super naked.
Just no, everyone was too polite to stop him.
Yeah, I know. Basically,
come to think of it, there was a naked guy who came in that day I was working.
Was he really?
No.
Oh.
I just pieced it together now. Just like, oh yeah, there was that naked man who came in and nobody did anything about. We all thought that was kind of weird.
That was a different time. I wasn't there for the naked man, or I was, but I didn't see him. There was a different naked man.
There was a time a dog just walked around and nobody quite knew what to do. It was like clearly a stray, and we're like, what do we do in this situation? And I'm there like, let me pet the dog. They're like, it might bite you. I'm like, I'll go out for that. Let me pet the fucking dog.
Let me pet the fucking naked dog.
Yes, the dog was also naked.
He's gotta stop by for groceries before he starts his shift at the gas station in Romania.
Yes, the grass station.
He loves the grass station.
That's all cars in Romania run on grass.
Yeah, they're truly progressive people. So Naked Man was like arrested, and the cops only caught him because they're on a shift change, and they saw him in the rearview mirror. They're like, huh, and they fucking made a Yui.
Just try to just turn around and just hit 3 people in the median. But yeah, they all knew that. They've all seen Steve at the Shop. Go watch Steve at the Shop. Somebody contacted me. They're like, we'd like to distribute that once. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, that's why.
That's illegal.
well, that's the thing is, I'm like, I'm like, there's like copyrighted music in that.
Yeah.
It's like fine by YouTube standards, but
Yeah.
like,
So yeah, the cops pull around, like, they come back to the store after they book the guy. They're like, yeah, can we see footage of that? I'm like, here it is, he's a naked man. And like, the cops are in there, and like, they know what's going on, and like, they hear like all the loud sex moans from the video booths and stuff. And then like, the guys doing their walk of shame are like, making double time because they see the cops in there, like, oh fuck. But they don't give a shit. They're just there to arrest naked guy and press charges against him.
oh, the worst supervillain, naked guy, with his powers of nakedness.
Yeah, the flesh.
With the power to be extremely naked. Melt Man with the power to melt. I am here.
Now.
Melt. Yeah, sex shop. But anyway, so I'll take you to the sex shop. That song's already about sex. That don't work. But
It works twice as well. It's like a double negative.
But I remember there was that the Rugrats movie where they go camping. It was all grown up. It's like all grown up movie where they go camping.
And there's ghosts.
And their parents get trapped in a cave or something, and then they find there's a ghost kid leading them through the cave, and then they find the skeletons of previous ghosts who died like playing cards or something. But yeah, in that, there's a character who says they came back like they ain't ever had no brains or nothing. And then one of the funny jokes that I actually remember is just them always counting how many negatives that is and if it comes back around. But,
So yeah, don't watch All Grown Up.
don't watch All Grown Up.
That shit sucks.
But do watch Monkeybone. Literally the first episode of that ended with like one of them dangling off a roof, and I think Angelica had to say to him, I'm like, did you write this in a day?
Yeah.
What would the Rugrats were so cool and cute because they were just like little babies who just had these little adventures. They weren't these big, they're just babies rolling around and shit.
Just constantly getting into child endangerment.
And one psychotic kid who definitely needs a therapist.
Yeah.
Like, that's what All Grown Up should have been. It should have just been Angelica in therapy. She's like, can I see my friends? Like, you don't have friends. Those kids don't like you. I don't like you.
One of them only hangs out with you because you're related to him.
Yes, you're essentially a menace. But anyway, yeah, it's like, oh, they're kids and they get into these small things. What would an adult like, or at least because they were like 10, they weren't even like
They were like
teenagers.
13, maybe.
I think they were like preteens or something,
Yeah.
so like 12 at the oldest or something like that.
I think Chucky was like the first to turn 13 because he was like the oldest kid aside from Angelica.
It's like, well, what would these kids do? It's like they get into situations where they have to dangle off the roof. I'm gonna jump off the roof. They're hanging out with Michael Richards, that's why. They're gonna learn some bad things. I don't know if Angelica's gonna be friends with Cindy for too long after. Was that her friend's name? I don't fucking remember.
No, Cynthia was the imaginary friend. That was like the ugly fucking doll she had all the time.
But what's
Susie.
Susie, that was it. I knew it was something with an E.
Yeah, Angelica learning the power of the N-word, by which I mean no, where she's told no by her other friends.
By her other friends. It's like, you guys want to hang out with me? No. You're rich and we don't even want to hang out with you. You know how bad that is?
Yeah, your uncle's like literally a toy manufacturer. He designed Reptar.
Why did everybody in that town have like purple and fucking orange hair? Like not even like ginger hair. It's like that's like fluorescent orange.
It's the same thing with Doug, where like Skeeter's is blue.
Well, that's because the water's poisoned.
Well, yeah.
Somebody's trying to kill every character. Doug is trying to. That's what Quail Man's ultimate goal is. You thought he was the hero. Here's the villain.
Well, yeah, no, Quailman's the ultimate simp.
Yes. Well, I mean.
He wants to give Patty some mayonnaise.
Sorry, I just fucking remembered that the fucking love interest in Doug's name is Patty Mayonnaise. There are so many cartoons that people are like, oh, I bet the creators of this were high when they made this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. People who made like fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were definitely on acid, and I think they've confirmed as much.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
that's what caused them to become mutated.
yes, that's what that would originally. It's just like they took a bunch of LSD and then the turtles got super woke. But
Lakeith Stanfield as Donatello, everyone.
adult, normal woke turtles.
Middle-aged boomer workforce turtles.
By the way, fun fact: turtle shell is lined with like a bunch of nerve endings and stuff like that. So in real life, the Ninja Turtles would be terrible fucking warriors because you could just whack them on the back and they'd just be like, ah, ah,
It's like that episode of Atlanta where like baby's driving the car and like the other dude's like, watch the road, baby, watch the road, baby, and he fucking just, like keeps looking back to yell at his son, and he crashes into someone like head on going like 50 miles an hour, and the lady just comes out with the most blood curdling scream. She's like, ah, for like 30 seconds, and he just speeds away.
Classic. But sorry, Brendan, do you need some beer? I'm not gonna pour beer in that puppet.
Well, yeah, you know the amount of beer responsible for what he does next.
Oh, I don't want the yeast to just form a culture and then we got like a colony living in that thing.
Become sentient.
But we've talked about everything. But welcome to the maybe we'll get to the topic, maybe we won't podcast hour.
Yeah.
Do we really have anything to say about our Monkeyblast Blast from the Past crossover? What would that entail?
Okay, so my idea is, my initial pitch for Blast of the Past 2, Electric Boogaloo, was that Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone, is that her name?
With Bird Lady who bird feeds her kids and is like, I invented birding. It's like, you don't need to take credit for that.
Yeah, we'll just replace her with Christina Applegate or something. Is she still alive? I mean, Alicia Silverstone. I'm pretty sure Christina Applegate's still alive. Shout out to Christina Applegate real quick.
This is the one that Eric Andre was like, hey, quick shout out to Christina Applegate. Just even the guest is like, oh, okay.
It would have been great if they got on the last season, they got Christina Applegate. Like, quick shout out to Hannibal Buress, everyone.
And thus completes the meme. But, well, yeah, I was watching, I think it was Caravan of Garbage or something like that, but they're just like, oh yeah, Alicia Silverstone invented birding. And he explained what it was, and I think Mason's just like, well, no, birds invented that.
So yeah, my idea for Blast of the Past 2, Blast of the Future, is Brendan Fraser and Alicia Shawkat, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Alicia Shawkat, we'll get her in there. Fuck it. It's a different actress every hour of the 2-hour movie, just so it's just two people.
Just switches roles halfway through.
It's like that last movie that Heath Ledger did, where it's just like, he's Johnny Depp now.
And Colin Farrell, probably.
Well, like, that movie mostly works, but then the thing is, like, he's Colin Farrell for pretty much the entire ending.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'd been nice if he, like, turned back into Heath Ledger for this, but he was dead, so.
Yeah, if you just fucking changelinged into him.
Yeah.
Just put on, like, a paper bag with the cutout of his face.
They should have just tried their hand at early CGI face.
Oh, yeah, that would have been great. It didn't work. It worked so well in Rogue One.
My favorite example of a CGI face is, what's his fucking name? Laurence Olivier is in the movie Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow because one of the producers hadn't seen him in a movie for a while. And I wonder fucking why.
Was he doing blackface?
Yes, they specifically took footage from him as Othello.
This is in black and white, so he's in double blackface.
Speaking of that,
So that cancels out.
and maybe I'll talk about this more in our recommendations. I realized we were in such a rush to go live, which never ended up happening, by the way, that we completely forgot recommendations last episode.
We did.
But
Did we?
Yeah, I think we like interspersed them throughout, but we didn't do our normal segment. But I will be recommending WandaVision later. I enjoyed it quite a bit, or at least the 2 episodes that are up. But Vision looks fucking terrifying in black and white. It's just like just blob with no eyebrows, it's just eyes and teeth. It's just like
So yeah, he's doing blackface.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, in black and white, it's all the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to our Brendan Fraser thing. So yeah, we got Ali Shawkat and Alicia Silverstone and Christina Applegate and Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Applegate.
And whoever played Brendan Fraser's son in the third Mummy movie.
Yes, yeah. Shia LaBeouf.
Yes. I think that might have been was that the same kid? I don't think it's the same kid who played him in the second movie. But
Probably not.
I do know the kid who played him in the second movie was apparently like such a big fan of the first movie that he was just like telling everybody on set, like, no, it was different in the first movie. And I'm like, I would have thrown that kid out of the set.
I would have thrown that kid through a fucking window.
Just the scene in Scary Movie where it just hits the fan.
Yahtzee!
But,
So yeah, him and his wife. So it's a very timely movie. It's very contemporary to our modern political struggles. So you see, because Brendan Fraser grew up in a time of paranoia because of nuclear war.
Yeah, isn't that he grew up in a bunker?
Yeah, he grew up in a bunker because his family like got like a misinterpretation or whatever. I don't remember. But it's been a while.
Bubble Boy is now a part of this movie too.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is Brendan Fraser's son. And he puts on 300 pounds of weight, not of muscle, to be his son. No one told him to do this, but he does.
That'd be great if fucking like they're like, oh, let's try and get fucking Jake Gyllenhaal back for the next Spider-Man movie. He's like, nah, I don't wanna do that. But then he just goes and does fucking Bubble Boy 2. Bubble Boy year.
Bubble non-binary boy.
I feel like Bubble Boy was just made because Bubble Boy is fun to say.
It is fun to say. Bubble boy. Bubble boy. Bubble boy. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a bubble boy. Bubble boy. So Bubble Boy has to go out into the world because, on a weight loss journey, and also because his parents are paranoid that they'll run out of supplies because of COVID, and they don't know how to use DoorDash because they're boomers.
They're paranoid and they're going off the rails on the crazy train.
They're paranoid androids. Again, they can't use Android. That's the irony. See, it's basically just a live-action readaptation of Ergo Proxy, which is actually just an anime version of Blade Runner, which is based off the short story by Philip K. Dick. So it's all tying kind of tangentially together. So they send their kid out in a wacky mix-up, in order
literature. It's do androids dream of electric sheep?
It's literature, fam.
Well, for some reason, I don't know if you can see this, but each one of the words here is like
capitalized and it's emboldened.
It's capitalized and emboldened, so it's like that's supposed to be an anagram, but that's just
dads.
Dades. And I guess if we're putting in the Philip K. Dick too, it's Dades. Hi, my name is Dades, PKD. What's that stand for? Who fucking knows?
Philip K. Dick?
Yes, Philip K. Dick Inspector.
So, in a wacky mix-up, in a hasty reaction, Brendan Fraser and Alicia Shawkat, or whoever the fuck, send their son out to in a cargo shipping container in order to get a mecha's worth of supplies. They accidentally end up sending him to India. And this is also tied into our Monkeybone movie somehow, which is also a legacy sequel, in which Garfield's creator, Jim Davis, because Brendan Fraser dies again, or he goes into a coma, or whatever the fuck happened to that movie.
Monkeybone 2, Brendan Fraser dies again.
Did he ever truly live? So, I mean, before his divorce. So
it's the two truths that the South will rise again, and Brendan Fraser will die again.
As soon as Brendan Fraser dies, the South will rise again.
Yeah, he's the key.
He is the one thing keeping the South from rising once more.
Don't let them find out.
That's why his wife was like from a long line of plantation owners, and she tried to slowly break him down in order to kill him, but it didn't work.
Instead of just killing him, she just wanted to mentally break him and hope he just died from that.
Well, yeah, no, because everyone has got a camera nowadays, right? So she couldn't just kill him outright. It's not like she's fucking OJ.
I was watching a thing recently about like this guy who like he did YouTube videos. He was like an older guy of him singing, and
Tay Day.
Yes, and basically, he was this old guy, and like he was a terrible singer and stuff like that. But people were like, "Oh, it's this old man, and that's nice and stuff." And then they eventually found out he was like a sex offender, and that made like a lot of his past interactions with people very creepy and weird. And then he died like shortly after people started like just really piling on the hate. And the thing I was watching is like, oh, it's this was months after. Is very surprised that maybe it just like lost the will to live. And I just like pause a bit. I'm like, why the fuck do people think you can just die from just like, I don't want to be alive anymore. But
I mean, if you have like cancer or something, sure. Or if you're old and like your wife dies.
Well, it's like there are there's a thing called broken heart syndrome where you can literally like you just so fucking depressed and stuff that your body's like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? Yeah. And like there's stuff like that, but it's like I just think back to the fucking Star Wars prequels. It's like she simply lost her will to live. Like, George Lucas already demonstrated for 3 goddamn movies that he doesn't understand how people work, and then it's just like she's lost her will to live. That's the point where I'm like, I don't think George Lucas is human. I think he just came from a galaxy where all this stuff happened, and he's just trying to get it all down before he dies. It's just like, yeah, and then there was this big fight in a Coliseum, and then there was like these weird rat creatures. There was this guy, his name was Django Fett, and he just came down, and then a man just cavalierly decapitated him with the most swagger I've ever seen. And then
the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
That's one of my favorite things in any of the Star Wars prequels is the scene where Jango Fett gets decapitated, because Samuel L. Jackson's just like, he just looks like he doesn't know where he is, but because of that, it looks so cool.
Well, yeah, he was like, what, fucking 50 or 60 when he made that?
Well, that's the thing. That's watching fucking Captain Marvel. Just like any scene he's in. It's just like, you have the face you did when you were younger, but you are moving at the speed of someone who is the age you are. That's not for fucking.
No, man, he has scoliosis.
Well, for fucking
It's made him such a good spy. He was so unassuming.
For fucking well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's real Fury is very slow, and then the Fury we've known, who is slightly faster, is just a Skrull. But yes, there's a whole theory about that, because in fucking Age of Ultron, he, like, I guess in Captain Marvel he says, they lay out some lines that, like, they know if he's a Skrull or something like that. He's like, if toast is cut diagonally, I can't eat it. But in Age of Ultron, he's eating a piece of toast that is cut diagonally. Or maybe he said bread. There's a distinction, because in one of them he says bread, and then the other one it's toast or something like that. But people were like, maybe Nick Fury was a Skrull the whole time, and I'm like, who has time to do this?
The same people that get upset whenever their beliefs are challenged that you were referring to earlier?
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's fucking one thing I quite liked. Another thing I'll be recommending, the Harley Quinn show. One thing I quite like about that is there's an episode that just starts with 2 guys. One's wearing a fucking Release the Snyder Cut shirt, and the other guy's wearing a, like, Last Jedi is not canon. And it's just like, hey, you seen that Harley Quinn show? I was like, no. It's just, he just starts listening to all this stuff. It's like, but you haven't seen the show? It's like, no. It's like, well, just check out this review. It's like, wait, this review's written by you. Yeah, and I called it perfectly. It's like, look at and then they watch the episode, because the episode description is, he's like, oh, that social justice warrior Harley Quinn does not appear in this episode. It's entirely about Batman as he tries to recover. Okay, we'll watch it. And it's just like those are the moments in that show where I'm like, this is fucking great.
I mean, it's a better take than what Teen Titans Go had, where it's like, or it was either that or like a crossover with like that and like the new Thundercats thing, where it's like, yeah, you can't criticize us because things are old and lame and we're new and cool, and people that criticize our show are pee-pee poo-poo heads or some shit like that. And you gotta wonder why is that shit stayed on the air as long as it did. I mean, I know why. It's because parents would rather just let their kids sit in front of the fucking TV and let that be the babysitter, because they're horrible people.
Oh, yeah, it's like that line in that Nick Lutzko song. For such a ridiculous man, when I listen to his, like, actual songs, I'm like, I feel like there's, like, actual pain and something like, I mean, granted, everybody these days is like, everything sucks, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that one fucking line, you bought your children's future in a VCR and had them Ritalin and shit like that, and I'm like, that's a very fitting.
Yeah.
So many people I know are just like, when they were being raised, it's like, yeah, my parents were just kind of like, yeah, just sit in front of here, and if you can't sit in front of here, just take these pills, and then you'll sit in front of there, because they're just tranquilizers.
I was talking with a friend about the military, like the pharmaceutical, like big pharma shit, and it's like, why are Americans so addicted to drugs? I'm like, well, because the healthcare system sucks, and like everyone's like, when you break your foot, they give you a fucking Percocet. And so it reminds me of that White as a Kid's bit, where like the kids are doing the Pledge of Allegiance and they're all being indoctrinated, and then like Trevor Moore's like, good job, kids, like, come get your Ritalin.
Bye, rationality. Bye.
Bye. The fucking fairy goes into the guy's mouth and he just vomits blood. Now stop.
Back to my stamp.
That thought was a lover's quarrel. Why don't you just stop here? Okay. And I'll take your belt off. Okay. And I'll put my arm around you. Okay. And I'll just do this. Okay. Oh, looks like we're gonna have to stop at the clinic. Okay.
It's one of the like best ideas for a sketch, but it's also just so fucked up.
Exactly.
But anyway,
Pennywise. Pennyworth.
My dad was watching Pennyworth out there recently. He's like, "You seen any of this?" And I'm like, "What is this? Like Pennyworth?" I'm like, "Is that the show about Alfred being a spy?" He's like, "Yeah, it's pretty good. It's the second season." I'm like, okay.
My grandmother also recommended that show to me, and she's like, "I'll watch The Boys if you watch Pennyworth." I'm like, "Okay." And I watched a second of it. I saw Alfred had a weird widow's peak. I'm like, "I'm out."
That's the type of thing where I'm like, I'm sure that's a fine idea, but that's just one of those things where until I'm forced to see enough of it to be like, this is interesting, I'm just like, whose fucking idea was that?
I don't know. It's anything that milked the fucking Batman property.
Well, it's like that fucking thing that Sony tried to do that they denied, even though like I think Sally Field and the email leaks confirmed it, that they were trying to do like an Aunt May movie about her years as a spy.
But they already tried to do that with Amazing Spider-Man 2, where his parents were spies.
Everybody's a spy. You're a spy. She's a spy. Everywhere is spy. Old Mick Spider-Man had a spy.
They should have had that extended scene in the first Raimi movie where Spider-Man was like yelling at Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben's like, "Fuck you, Peter, all right? You don't have to go down in the mud with your 13-year-old Vietnamese ladyboy lover and watch her die and sit down under napalm strikes while her shack burned down around us. We're gonna start a life together, Peter. Fuck you, get out of my car."
And then there's of course that extended scene where when Peter jumps down the stairs at the beginning, he just punches Uncle Ben. It's one of my favorite fucking edits. But that, and if we're going by one of my favorite Spider-Man picture edits, it's when people would do the face app to make him smile and to see when he's crying and Uncle Ben's been shot. But
speaking of shots, so Monkeybone.
Yes. So the director of Monkeybone was shot by this puppet.
So Brendan Fraser gets into yet another coma in this movie, and he goes into purgatory.
When you say yet another one, do you mean in addition to the one from the first movie or from his life?
Yes. No, that ties into the movie because Brendan Fraser in IRL gets hit by a car, and then they film around that.
The advertising for the movie is they just actually hit him with a car.
He's like, "Oh yeah, he said he doesn't do his own stunts anymore. We'll see about that."
So the Mummy movie ruined his body? Well, we'll see what a car does to it.
Welcome to Man vs. Car. Wouldn't the car just win every time? So
just a regular car.
So Brendan Fraser gets into yet another coma, and then before he tries to escape back to the main world, he gets possessed by the ghost of Jim Davis instead, and Garfield is the one that tries to go into Jim Davis's body.
I'm Garfield.
I want my treasure chest.
Kill Jim Davis.
I want my treasure chest. It's mine. Give it back.
It was Keith was making like a character in something, and he just like Keith literally has like snapped me a handful of times, maybe. I don't know. I've had Snapchat a while, and he just sent me a picture of a character who's making something that looked exactly like Tim Robinson. He just said the bones are their money. But yeah, while you were saying that, and you said when he goes back to the main world, I just had flashbacks of, there's that one, like, Wheel of the Worst or Best of the Worst, it's one of those fucking things, where they watch a thing about nudists, and the nudists in it, the one guy says, like, oh, it has this freeing experience that you can't get in the clothed world. And they're all just talking about how uncomfortable that is, but that's, like, I wanted to just hop on something they started, but it's just like, that really is who says that? Like, there's a better way to describe everyday reality than the clothed world.
I think it's someone indoctrinated by the cult of nude.
Oh god, that's probably gonna be the next big thing. Screw the Scientologists, the nudists are gonna come out and just they're gonna be walking through the mall trying to hand out pamphlets, and everyone's like, oh god.
The cult of nude television, also known as cunt.
Just everybody shows up carrying their pamphlets. Like, Jim, I don't see you with your pamphlets. Where are they? He just turns around, they're clenched between his ass.
Pantsless and pamphlets.
Well, that's the thing. They show up clothed. That's how they get past initially. But the clothes are made out of the pamphlets. It's like one of those tearaway things. So you just until they're totally naked.
It's a true Trojan's horse. It's just a bunch of nudists, like a bunch of naked people climbed into like they're just like stacked in a trench coat, like on each other's shoulders.
It's a true naked horse. Welcome to our bar, the Naked Horse.
Is that when you seductively like take the saddle off the horse?
Yes, just that should be an option in Red Dead Redemption. 1, remove saddle. 2, take off saddle sensually. Also, I was just looking for games and shit to download and stuff like that, and Red Dead Redemption Online came up as a separate game you can buy for like $5.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it because I wasn't sure if you needed like the base game, but I'm like, they're just like at the point where it's like, this is a different game. And I looked into it. They're like, this is included with regular Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, what if somebody just fucking bought this and then bought that and they just have this useless fucking thing?
Yeah, it's not like you can gift it like it's Steam or something. Well, yeah, Grand Theft Auto, they did that with Grand Theft Auto as well. They have like the premium Money Shark Cum edition online.
Which is funny considering I just recently installed it on that computer, and the only reason I have it on a computer is because they made it free during fucking lockdown.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an 8-year-old game at this point.
I was super worried because I fucking I went onto my I installed the Rockstar like app launcher and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's not in here. Crap, what do I do? And I'm like, all right, I have it through Epic Games, so I have to have the Epic Games launcher and the Rockstar. Like, I don't think I have to have the launcher, but I at least have the Social Club or something like that. It's just so goddamn stupid.
It's like that shitty fucking Games for Windows Live shit. Whenever you bought a game through Steam, like Dark Souls or some shit, it was already enough of not a pain in the ass, but I already had to install this other thing because FromSoft didn't know what the fuck they were doing when they made their first PC game. So you had to mod the fucking game first to even get it to goddamn run well, unlock the frame cap and all that shit, and make sure the game doesn't fucking crash every 5 goddamn seconds. And then you had to fucking install some shitty games from Windows Live. And by that point, it's like, I don't even want to play it. I already beat it 5 times on consoles. Give me a fucking break.
I was playing fucking Injustice 2 because I was dipping into my Game Pass games, and for whatever reason, maybe it's just that one. That was the only one I played so far. But I think my Game Pass games don't work like my Steam games. They don't like go full screen. Like even if you do them full screen, it's still got the borders and stuff, which is nice because sometimes I'm playing Fallout and I'm like, I want to just not play this for a few minutes, but I don't want to quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if they're full screen. Also, maybe this is just a like fuck you to like you gotta try and use a Steam controller on a Game Pass game and not an Xbox controller. Like that game was unplayable on the goddamn Steam controller. Like I had to remap it, and even then it's just like no. And then fucking put in that, it's already got a preloaded configuration and everything. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but fuck you. But then again, even some of the things I play on Steam, they like whatever the default one they have loaded for it. I'm like, who did this? Because I think like each person, I feel like somebody different does it for each game. That's just somebody doing that, uploading those configurations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because when I like put it on, it's like official configuration loaded for Fallout 4, and I'm like, well, whoever did it for this one, you did a decent job. But whoever did it for Mad Max, maybe you should make it so that you can rotate the camera while you're moving. But
goddamn Atari 2600 game.
Like it works fine when you're driving, and granted that's the more fun part of the game anyway. Anytime I'm on foot in that game, I'm like, ugh. Like even running, like you get like a sprint for a little bit. I'm just like, I just want to get in a car and listen. I want to find a man playing guitar on top of a tower of amps.
That's kind of like how it's like the complete opposite of Fist of the North Star by like Ryu Gakutoko or whatever the fuck that was pronounced. Like, they made a Yakuza-style Fist of the North Star game. It's pretty good when you're walking throughout the town, but then they have, like, the shittiest fucking driving sections I've ever played in my goddamn life. And some of them are mandatory.
Oh, God.
And, like, it's like you're driving a Zamboni on butter. And you're constantly in the desert, like, just driving with a bunch of nothing, and there's, like, useless-ass collectibles.
Oh, so it's big rigs?
It's literally just big rigs. Although, you do go faster when you go reverse, so yeah.
Well, that's just the laws of physics. They did that because that's how it works in real life.
Well, yeah, that's how it works in Australia because everything's backwards there. Like the toilet's flushing and everything's upside down there.
Apparently, Australia doesn't really have to worry about earthquakes, from what I understand, because they're like in the middle of a tectonic plate.
And because God said, you know what, you guys have suffered enough.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I feel like at some point the world's gonna get so fucked that Australia's the last place we all have to go to, and that's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because especially by then, the Mad Max has happened.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing. I've always says like, there's a few movies where I don't think they used as many effects as people think they did.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I think maybe there just is a giant spider in New Zealand. It wouldn't be that surprising with the things that are actually down there.
Yeah, and all the orcs are just ugly fucking locals.
Yes. And then fucking with Mad Max. I'm convinced that even though the first Mad Max movie is like this is just like now, basically. But like the other Mad Max movies, I'm like, I don't think those are effects. That's just what Australia looks like. They're just doing that down there. But speaking of Australia and things that have nothing to do with Australia, Monkeyblast, Bone from the Past.
Ah, yes, you had a surprise for us earlier, a spooky, spicy surprise at that.
Oh yeah, we want to move on to that?
Might as well. I was done talking about fucking Monkeybone like 40 minutes ago.
Well, we need to expand it but listen,
Expand, dong.
if we just keep rambling, nobody will realize we never know what the fuck we're talking about.
Exactly.
Especially when it's something that originated in our own heads, because good luck deciphering that even if you're us. But yes, so I did want to talk about another Brendan Fraser movie, one I actually quite enjoyed when I was growing up. I haven't seen it as an adult. Kind of don't want to because I feel like it'll be shit. But Bedazzled.
Ah.
Do you remember that?
I have not seen it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, actually.
It has... I don't know why, but I confused this woman with Amanda Peet for the longest time, but even though they look nothing alike. But Elizabeth Hurley, who
Heiress to the Hurley fortune. She loves skateboarding.
Yes. I don't know what else she's done recently. I think she was in that Runaway show, which I know you haven't seen. But
No, I've not.
But I think I watched a little bit of it. It was fine. But Elizabeth Hurley is the devil.
But what about the show?
Yes. So Brendan Fraser... I don't remember how he gets into the thing, but he like...
I remember. He like wishes for stuff, like he wants to be a basketball player and he has a tiny dick or something.
He becomes a basketball player with a tiny dick, and that's the thing. He has like a pager.
Yeah.
This is right in that time period where that, like, if they had made that even a year later, that would be a cell phone. But he had a pager that I think he had to hit like 666 if he ever wanted to get out of the situation. He wanted to be a basketball. I think he just wanted to be tall or something.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, you're a basketball player," but then he had like a tiny dick or something like that. He wasted his first wish on like a Big Mac and a Coke or something like that. Which that's
nice product placement.
Well, that's one of the funnier scenes because she's like, I can literally do anything. He's like, can I get a Big Mac and a Coke? And then a bus just pulls up. They just go to a McDonald's and she just orders for her like Big Mac and a Coke. And the person's just like fries. And he like sort of looks to her and she just keeps looking for her and just says no. And then later he complains about it. It's like, that was one of my wishes. I didn't even get fries. You didn't ask for fries. But yeah, and then I think at one point he either says he wants to become powerful or he wants to be the president.
Yeah, then he's like a supervillain.
Well, no, he becomes Abraham Lincoln. Like she specifically is like, okay, you could be president. Specifically the president Abraham Lincoln, and he's at the play the like night he's gonna be shot, and I think he wants. I think maybe they're separate wishes, and he does want to be powerful. And when he wants to be powerful, she makes him like a Cuban drug lord.
Yeah,
it's like just like it's that type of thing where it wears off. Like the charm of it probably wears off fairly quickly as an adult. But I remember being like, these are just funny scenarios that you keep getting him to.
Yeah.
And it's probably better than the Bedazzled it's a remake of, because that's from the fucking 50s. Who gives a shit? I think that might be one of those movies where the whole kid sees like the devil's a lady. You wouldn't expect the devil to be a lady. You wouldn't even expect we'd let him on the screen. They should be in the home working on your dinner.
Yeah, and watching the husband and the son playing Battleship.
Yes.
And teaching the daughter to also wash the dishes and do the floors.
Your wife should be a witch and you should be a British android.
Yeah, I think the makers of Fright Night 2 took a lot of pages from Bedazzled.
Honestly, if they just remade that movie again with Jamie Murray this time, it probably fits. I mean, she's already in one remake of a movie that was already remade once, so. But yes, so I remember it being fine. Haven't watched it in a while. That's probably not going to change before too long, but it was one of those movies I'd put on to like fall asleep to. Which probably isn't really the sign of a good movie now that I think about it. But I do typically only do that with movies I really like. So,
Seal of quality, everyone. The Andy Spence seal of quality.
if I can fall asleep to it,
10 out of fucking 10.
but if the puppet can fall asleep to it, then
He doesn't fall asleep to any movies. He doesn't like movies.
he has closable eyelids somewhere, unless my dad threw them out, which he almost certainly did.
I don't believe you.
If I could assuage this, I would.
I think it'd be worse if his eyes were closed because I looked back up and they were open again.
Well, that's the thing. What I kind of wanted to do, it wouldn't make any sense, and I don't know how I'd do it, but I kind of wanted to edit each angle so that he was specifically looking at each camera. But, God bless you if you've made it this far into the visual episode with just this thing behind us.
There's just a mosaic of his face in the background.
I'm gonna make instead of like how I put like our face or our logo and stuff in the circle in the center, I'm just going to put his face. This is Pitchy, the pitch shift puppet. But expect him in every episode until our viewership officially dwindles down to just us. But
It hasn't already?
yes, but Medina's still out there sometimes. Carry on the good word of the beef and cheddar. Beef and cheddar. Beef and cheddar. But so yeah, anyway, I think there should be a new Bedazzled. Bring Brendan Fraser back. It's the sequel, Betoozled. And you can bring Elizabeth Hurley back because she's still very attractive, and
then the third one could be 3-dazzled.
I remember there's a joke in that where it's like, you don't look how I expected the devil to look, and she turns around and she's like a Halloween costume devil. She's like, well, I could look like this, and she's still talking in her voice, and then I think at one point she does turn into a terrifying monster. She's like, I can be this. And he's like, no, don't do that. So, yeah, bring Elizabeth Hurley back, but only as a terrifying eldritch monster. And Brendan Fraser comes back, and in this, I don't remember what he did in the original movie, but now he's a very successful, he runs like an Apple-type company that has found a way to recreate that beeper that he had in the first movie.
To call the devil.
Yes, now in a smartphone. So now everybody can call the devil, and the devil's just constantly getting pissed off because she's just like, damn it! And she just has to go to stop whatever evil thing she's doing and go help somebody to perform wishes for them.
Or Brendan Fraser is the company of a tech giant that makes pencils that are also phones.
They're also phones. Yes, this is also a sequel to Elfette. At some point, we gotta watch that other fucking movie I sent you. It's just like Elfman Saves Christmas. Or just it might just be called Elfman or something. I'm an elf man. You get a song every episode. Every song a hit, every hit a slap.
Every slap a fuck.
But yes, so yeah, that's generally all I got on that one. Just nobody remembers the movie Bedazzled, so I could have made up what the plot was and made it so much more interesting.
You could have stolen the plot of Bedazzled and made it into a current movie.
So a guy just has a thing with the devil where he gets 7 wishes, and if I remember correctly, I think that's one of those things where at the end of it, his final wish is like for the girl he likes to be happy or something like that. And as well as it's like, that's a loophole. You wish for something selfless, so you get to blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, you never said that. It's like, you didn't read the contract? It's like, no. As we have established, that was a visual gag that the contract was like the size of fucking It. Like the scene where he gets the contract is the giant phone book that lands on him. It's like, you didn't read the contract? It's like, you were there. You know the answer to that question, devil. And they part amicably. It's just like, parting ways. Like, that's a fucking devil.
Yeah, like, see you in about 30 years.
That's one of the few funny parts from fucking, intentionally funny parts from Drive Angry, shot in 3 days. where that one guy, William Fichtner's character, I think, is death.
Yeah.
And there's a part where he just comes out, like, to 2 guys, and the guy's like, see you in a little bit. I see you in a few months. And just walks away. were we watching that recently? I've seen clips of that recently, and I remember I was watching it, we're like, oh, this looks like this? This is how bad this looks?
We were definitely, like, I remember he came over to my place one time, and, like, it was just on, when, like, before I switched it over to, like, YouTube or something, and it was just on, like, oh, hey, check it out, Drive Anchor, shot in 3 days.
Yeah,
And we watched, like, last 5 minutes, and I'm like, holy shit, this looks awful. Like,
It looked like a sci-fi movie.
it probably was a sci-fi movie before I got, like, distribution or some shit. And
It's like, well, Nicolas Cage is in it. It can't just go straight to TV.
And, like, I think there was, like, a scene where, like, he shot, like, a bullet through, like, the car window, and, like, there was a close-up of the bullet, and, like, he dodged the bullet, and then Des is like, oh, no, and he falls over the fucking overpass.
Let's get one thing straight. No one who was in that movie dodged the bullet.
No, well, not in the financial sense.
That movie was probably community service.
For everyone involved.
Yes, including the director.
Especially the director. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he also directed, like, Ghost Rider or something.
Well, the guy who directed Ghost Rider also directed Daredevil, which is funny that they saw Daredevil and were like, we'll give that guy another Marvel property. He did so well the first time.
Well,
because they had that director's cut, that makes it so much better. Because Coolio's in it now.
Yeah, release the Coolio cut.
They did. You can watch it.
How did that song go again? Shall we remind the viewers at home?
Oh, yeah. Come on, Daredevil. Come on.
Hell yeah.
This is Daredevil right here. You can't prove he's not.
Yeah, he has a sweater that says, I'm not Daredevil.
I'm not Daredevil. But, yeah, so go watch Daredevil.
Yeah.
But
Season 2 specifically.
Yes, go watch the show and go watch the Season 2 specifically. Or even better, go watch the deleted scene from the Elektra movie where Matt Murdock shows up and he's just got like, hey,
I'm not Daredevil.
I'm not Daredevil. I think that's in like a dream or something. I don't know. I've never watched Elektra.
Yeah, Matt Murdock shows up in his Elektra's dreams to say he's not Daredevil. I think that guy's Daredevil.
That's what I thought too until he said he's not there. You gotta learn to listen though. But yeah, so that's basically it. Do you have anything to recommend, Steve?
Yeah, who's your hairstylist? Matt Murdock?
I do look like Farquaad.
I don't know, go watch Monkeybone.
Go watch Monkeybone.
I haven't been watching anything. I've been playing MTG Arena, and I found out recently that you can look up specific cards that you want and like trade them in for wild cards, and that was cool. And then I looked up cards that I really wanted, and they wasn't allowed in the format I was playing, so it's like, guess I'll go fuck myself. Other than that, no, I haven't been playing video. I'm gonna buy Virgil DLC and play fucking some Devil May Cry 5 or something. I don't know. Go play Devil May Cry 5.
What we should do is we should both download Fallout 76 because it's on Game Pass, and we should make. You know how I've made an Olive Garden in Fallout 4. I would offer it up a free seat to every Pitch Shift listener, but that's not a multiplayer game. And if I put that on the Nexus, I'd have to be like, hey, you also have to download these 47 other mods, probably.
That's usually how downloading any mod in fucking any Fallout game works anyway.
I should just do all that and be like, warning, this may make your computer screen go like solitaire at certain points, but it's fine.
Or like that 3D screensaver where you're going through the labyrinth.
Yes, but it's like some of the stuff I've been building in Fallout 4, it's just like literally I just go through one patch and just all of a sudden it's like, oh, everything's invisible now. But yes, we should recreate the Olive Garden in Fallout 76, even though that might be like a different map. I don't fucking know how that game works. I don't think the people who made that game know how that game works.
Yeah,
clearly.
but that's not how it works.
But
they have a fucking.
Oh, they know how that works. You know the snow. If you know everybody in game
design. What I mean.
Everybody in game design's on cocaine.
Mostly just people at Bethesda because they're working 76 hours a week.
I remember one of the few jokes I'm proud of in my lifetime is when we were going to shoot a music video, we had to drive through like Bethesda, Maryland, and as soon as we got through it, I just texted out, got through Bethesda and didn't crash. It's a miracle. But Also, I like
That joke is about as good as anything in Monkeybone.
Yes, but I like that in the lead up to Fallout 76. So many of our friends were like, "This is gonna be awesome," and I'm like, "Yeah, Bethesda games are notoriously like broken at launch.
Yeah.
even for the good ones. So maybe just wait a little bit." And then people are like, "Nah, it's gonna be great from day one." And then just before the game even came out, just like you can only play it at these times. Oh shit, we fucked that up. You can only play it at these times. Oh shit, here, please pre-order it from this one place. Oh shit, if you pre-ordered it from GameStop, the mask had mold in it. Oh shit, we accidentally put all your information online after we made you have to sign a form to get a bag that we already promised you, because when we sent you the thing, the bag was worse, even though we clearly had the material to make the bag because we sent it out to influencers and stuff.
You want a physical copy? Here's a piece of cardboard, you
Here's
piece
a cardboard
of shit.
disc. I can't. Out of everything, there's so much shit that happened with Fallout 76 that I'm just like, what the fuck was that? But that's the thing the most where I'm like, that's a cardboard disc. I hope somebody got so far that they put it in the console without realizing. That's despicable.
They waited for like the midnight release, just so sleep deprived, and like they get back home and put the fucking cardboard and just fuck up their console.
Well, it's like how Nintendo was like, oh, this new Super Mario All-Stars 3D, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's only going to be available for a limited time, but then they have like a physical release. I'm like, what is it? But anyway. Oh, wait. No, fucking, I'll do it after the recommendations. I do have some things to recommend. I've been watching the Harley Quinn show that was on DC Universe and I guess is going to HBO Max. It's on there now. That's really good. In the last few episodes of season 2, they've gotten to some plot points I'm not thrilled about, but it's like legitimately hilarious. So go check that out. I didn't do this last episode directly, but I do recommend Wonder Woman 1984. It's batshit insane, but that is why I like it. I just like, everyone's like, this movie's so goofy compared to the first one. I'm like, the first one's goofy too, because it stops dead like every 5 minutes to be like, look how cool this action is. Boom. It's like, and then you look, it's like, oh, who has a story credit? Zack Snyder? Oh, that makes sense. Maybe that's why after the movie probably should have ended, where it's just like, hey, you can't just kill one guy and then like the war stops. Immediately after that, it's like, hey, here's the guy you gotta kill to make the war stop. It was like Zack Snyder read the script, was like, nah, lame, gay, hate it. We're gonna make him fight big guy in fire pit. But go watch Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. It's not out yet. But I think Batista's in that. Like, it sounds legitimately interesting. I was like, if anybody's gonna make George A. Romero movies now that he's dead, and also the last few he made were shit anyway.
Yeah, might as well be Zack Snyder.
Yeah, might as well. It's like, I don't even like the Dawn of the Dead remake that much. There's too much fucking explosions and shit like that. But it's like, yeah, the zombies are scary, that they can move fast and stuff. But anyway, yeah, so go watch the Harley Quinn show. Go watch Wonder Woman 1984 if you want, and don't be mad at me if you think it's terrible, because I have awful opinions. But there was one thing. This might make the episode a little bit longer, but there was one thing I did want to talk about.
Can you save it until after I piss? My blood is gonna fucking explode.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please. Sorry, everyone. I had to take a Tom Hanks break for a moment.
It's okay. We'll see where I even cut this back in anyway. Steve had to go pee. So we did our recommendations, but now, little exclusive thing. Don't know how often I'll do this because keeping up with internet news makes me want to shoot myself. But
yeah, we missed the boat on Being Dad, everyone. We're sorry about that.
Well, I could have talked about Being Dad for a while because that was the most bizarre sequence of events where it's just like, ooh, what's Being Dad? What's this guy doing? And then you see people talking about it, it's like, wait, Being Dad's the guy who made the theme song for My Brother, what? And then just like more, it's like when you find out how much shit Neil Ciceriga's done. It's like, yeah. I didn't think that going that would lead to here. But yeah, so there was this recent story, I don't know if you've heard about it, but with this lady who she's insane.
Okay.
So basically this kid I think his name is Tommy Innit, which I believe he's British. And if that's the case, that's the most it's Tommy, innit?
That's not his real last name. This is what they call him.
It's Tommy, innit? But I don't remember. I'm more so. I've seen the same video clip that this lady responded to initially, like so many times, but I keep forgetting because I can't remember if the kid's British or not. Because once the lady starts talking, I'm like, wait, what? But so anyway, this kid's like 16, I think, and he just like posted videos, just like, oh, I'm in this store and there's all these women around, and this lady just fucking replies to it, like the TikTok replies to it, and it's just like, oh, don't worry, just you don't need to be afraid of all these women, just go follow that meat teacher, Miss Tofu, and she'll show you every. I don't know who that is. I don't think that's her handle. I think that's somebody else's handle. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But she's like, she'll show you how to find a nice vegan girl, and then she like winks at him, and then she's like responded. She's like done this to a few of her videos, and then she released a video. It's like, oh, you tell me, Init fans are crazy, saying like I shouldn't be talking to a kid. He's making TikToks, and like I can respond to. It's just the thing. It's like. Here's the thing. If you had made that initial TikTok, it's like, oh, maybe I didn't know he was like 16. It is kind of weird that, maybe I should. That would be perfectly fine. But it's like, I should be allowed to just offer to hook up a teenager with fucking an old lady.
Does that lady have to go around to her neighbors and like disclose that she's on a list somewhere?
She's the Jesus. But, well, the thing is, so she did this. And then iNabber, who's a YouTuber I watch, he uploaded a video talking about that, basically being like, this is weird. And honestly, not even really going that far beyond that. Not being like, this lady's a pedophile. Not just being like, this is weird. And she made like just a long response video where some of the points she's making just like have nothing to do with fucking anything. And she keeps saying, like, people are vegan phobic. It's like, that is not a thing. And the dude, like, iNabber's like, he's like, I was vegan. Like, I'm like, I just, and like this lady, for whatever reason, I think in that response, she said like, it's not vegan to own a pet or something like this. And this lady has a dog. And like, she feeds it a vegan diet.
Yeah, like cum.
Yes. Like the people who think she probably does think the moon is, I feel like if I showed you a video of this lady, you'd be like, holy shit, and realize that was your neighbor. But yeah, like Here's my whole thing. I don't care if you're vegan. I don't give a shit what anybody else does with their like body or lifestyle, or it doesn't matter. But I cannot stand when people act like being vegan has anything to do with morality or any shit like that. It's like there are plenty of times where I'm like eating chicken, and like especially like pieces and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is like a leg. Like if you just think about eating like your own, it's like it can take you out of the moment. So I get that. But I also really like fucking chicken, so I'm not gonna stop.
I love fucking chicken too. I just like put it on my dick and I feel like, oh, it's so good.
And you're Thanos. But, well, see, that's the thing. Is like. I've often like been eating meat and been like, oh, like you kind of remember where it comes from. And you're like, oh, this is a bit weird. And on the whole, like, oh, like you eat too much red meat, that's bad for you. It's not like it's healthier overall to not eat so much meat. But also, like I live down the road from a McDonald's. I'm gonna, like, it's so much easier to deny that I'm eating cow when it's just a blended up thing that's in a quarter pounder.
Or when you go into Wendy's, it's just a square.
Yes.
I'm just eating a hockey puck.
We like to make our burgers hang over the bun because people really like it when the burger hangs over the bun. Have you seen that training video where he just keeps insisting that the reason they have square hamburgers is because the burger hangs over the bun?
I hate it when the burger hangs over the bun.
That is the weirdest thing to like just capitalize on. Like, we got the square burgers. It's like, cool. Maybe market yourself on the fact that you're like one of the only places to get a baked potato.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that was just a small thing. But just like, maybe we'll do a thing later if this lady keeps on her crazy spree where we can like react to some of this stuff. I'm afraid to, because like even us with our non-existent like audience, I'm afraid she might find us.
I mean, she will. She probably has her name in like a fucking like a Google like ping.
Oh yeah, that thing that like does that.
Yeah.
But
well, since you brought up the crazy vegan lady, can I quick tell a little tangent? It won't take more than
I don't
15 minutes, probably.
I don't give a shit. It's more so on the audience. So go right ahead.
So I had crazy fucking vegan neighbors for like the longest time, right? And
Have we ever talked about this on the show?
we have not. So this will be a good little fun bit. And
Maybe this could be a shift show.
This will definitely be a shift show. This will definitely tie into this ties into the crazy vegan lady because vegans are fucking crazy people. I mean, no offense.
Well,
I
now
mean,
we
full
gotta make
offense.
that into the shift show, and now it's just more opportunity for her to find us and talk about like you own a dog. Ah!
Well, it's like that lady that played fucking Aunt Viv in The Fresh Prince. Oh, she's
Yeah,
fucking
just
crazy.
finding out Mr. Gigi and people and stuff like that. Speaking of, well, we'll get to your story real quick. Did you see the Fresh Prince reunion?
No, but I did see the follow-up video that Mrs. Gigi made where like basically Vivica, not her name. Not Vivica A. Fox.
She's Vivica A. Fox.
The lady that played the original Aunt Viv.
Janet Hubert?
Yeah,
I think
Janet
is her
Hubert
name.
was basically right the whole time. And then Will Smith's like, yeah, sorry, I ruined your entire life and career, but hey, let's take a quick picture for TikTok or something.
What's that thing when Mr. Gigi made that original video? I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And it wasn't until watching that video where I'm like, oh yeah, there's some stuff about Will Smith that seems like, I wouldn't say sketch.
I mean, he is a Scientologist.
Oh god, well that's a fucking like so many people in Hollywood are Scientologists, and it's just a thing where it's like you kind of have to have it in the back of your mind. It's like just hope that it's because they suck your dick. Like it's like I hope that every Scientologist in Hollywood's like I don't. No, the aliens like coming into your body when you. I don't believe that shit. It's just the more money I give them, the more important I am to them.
Yeah,
So.
the more money I give them, the more I get to shoot my aliens into their crevice.
The more money I give them, the less people they send to my house to intimidate me to give them more money. But
So yeah,
but
Janet
yeah,
Hubert.
it was that thing where it was just like, yeah, I never quite thought about that. Maybe they're both kind of like equally to blame in that situation because she was if you're like a highly trained actress and stuff, like you watch those, she's clearly the better Aunt Viv. She's like she puts her all into
objectively.
it. Yeah.
Like she sings, she dances.
I think even the other lady would tell you that. She's like, they didn't know what to do
It was a
with me.
paycheck, yeah.
But yeah, no, like to be like such a skilled actress and have this just kid just wander in and be like, I'm the star. Like it's literally the character is me. I sound like this now.
Whoa.
Totally. That's what Will Smith sounds like, bro.
Whoa, rad. I'm just gonna skateboard in.
Can't wait to watch my favorite movie, Idle Hands, where the guy smokes weed that makes his hand come to life, or whatever the movie was about. I don't remember, even though I reviewed it.
Whoa.
I think I was slowly just turning into Macho Man.
You're gonna get me to the boiling
I'm
point.
covered in boils.
I'm boils. Yeah, no, that's what Aunt Viv does over the years. Is her she's becoming so angry she's turning into Macho Man.
Yeah, she pulls out creamer and throws it. But as you were saying about your crazy neighbors.
Ah, yes. So, I for like a year I lived in this place, not too far from you, Andy, as you know. And,
Yeah, you're just like, it's not too far from you. I'm like, I know, I was there. We filmed there.
several times.
That's where we filmed still most of our episodes.
Yeah. So, you're familiar with these fucking crazy people, not in the physical sense.
I think you wanted me to go over and meet them one night, and it was just really late, and I'm like,
No.
I'm like, maybe on a night where it's not already like 2 a.m, but
I just wanted you to see how fucking crazy these people were.
we'll go back and meet them now.
Oh, no, we can't. So, about a year ago, I moved not too far from Andy, and there was this chick in my neighborhood who's like, hey, come out hang out sometime. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I go
She
over.
said it exactly. Hey, come and hang out sometime.
Hey, come out and hang out sometime. Stick your dick in my cannoli. And so I go over there, and the first night, okay, so the first time I ever hung out with these people.
You just started describing it like it's fucking Five Nights at Freddy's, just like the first night.
Day one. 72 hours until the moon collides with Earth.
Well, it won't because, or maybe it will, but it'll be very small. We'll realize it's just tiny up there.
So the first night I ever hang out with them, she tries to tell me that so she's vegan, and they're both vegan. It's this couple, right? This is this Soylent Man and fucking crazy lady. So
My favorite superhero team.
yeah. So she's like, telling me that, oh yeah, the pineal gland is like your third eye, and like fluoride in the waters was like keeping us down and shit, man. So don't drink the tap water. Hey, want to store this Adderall?
I forgot.
Hey, did you know the moon's fake?
I forgot the pineal gland thing, and now I'm just imagining that you just walked in and there's just pink light everywhere, and that goopy man's like, I want to kiss.
So, yeah, she's trying to tell me that the pineal gland is like, the government's trying to put fluoride in our water in order to like keep us down and shit, man. And then she's just snorting Adderall right in front of me through a dollar bill. And then she was telling me that she's vegan, and I'm like, I respect that. But then she's trying to tell me that like vegans deserve the same rights as black people or some shit. And then I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to eat black people.
Wait, she said vegans deserve the same rights?
No, animals deserve the same rights as black people.
For a minute, I'm like, well, mission accomplished. But
so animals deserve the same right. They deserve the right to vote and to be emancipated from human control. And also that she would let her dog eat her boyfriend's cum after he came on her stomach. And that one time, her and her dude and another dude had like a devil's threesome. And then that guy tried to kill her dog.
you didn't tell me that part.
Because I forgot about that.
Was he upset about how much of the dude's semen was in the dog, and he's like, I want that.
Well, she wouldn't give up the cum out of it. It was in her snatch. So like, he's like, I'm gonna kill this fucking dog. He'll use his power-ups. So then I learned that because she told me.
Welcome to Bodily Fluid Podcast, the app. Welcome to Bodily Fluid.
Welcome to Bodily Poo.
I'm having a stroke.
I'm having a bodily poo myself. So she told me this as we were trying to watch Parasite like 7 fucking times because halfway through the movie I made
not even you were trying to watch you weren't trying to watch it and like 7 times that it took it. It's you were trying to watch it 7 times over and over.
I just wanted to watch the goddamn movie. I made a single joke because I was being a racist. We're like, oh, that guy must be that person's like sister or something. And she's like, no, you weren't paying attention. We gotta start it over again. I'm like, what? And I'm like, why'd you start the movie over? She's like, because you weren't paying attention. I'm like, I'm paying so much attention. And then I'm so pissed off at this point. They kept offering me Adderall. I'm like, yeah, sure, I snorted Adderall. I'm like, this is literally nothing to me. I'm just drunk and angry right now. And then we watched it, and then I woke up and my brain hurt.
Well, that was from Parasite. That wasn't from that. You really do understand it a lot better when you stop it like midway through and then start it over again.
We started it from the very beginning. It's not like we rewinded it 30 seconds or anything. We just started it from the beginning like 7 fucking times. I'm like, stop doing that. And we were on my Hulu, so we couldn't skip to the fucking ads.
I just imagine they just get lost and bored and just start starting it over again. You're like, no, stop it.
I shit you not. We started the movie at like 11 o'clock. We didn't finish until 7 in the morning. Then we started it so many goddamn times.
I feel like they were covering. I feel like they weren't paying attention, and they're like, you weren't paying attention.
Oh, you don't say. I know exactly what happens in that movie because I watched it 7 goddamn times in a row.
Well, that's...
And then towards the end of the movie, I predicted like, oh yeah, that guy's gonna kill those people because he's angry. And then she's like, what, did you see this movie before? I'm like, yes, 7 times ago.
Have you seen the movie before? Before this night? No. But yes.
And then there's so many goddamn stories I can tell with these fucking crazy people. But they're trying to tell me, okay, you're vegan, and I respect that. And they're like, yeah, we understand that our pet, with our dog, you know, we feed them meat and stuff. I'm like, cool, yeah, but you're vegan and you commit sexual abuse on your fucking dog? You let your dog eat cum?
It's like, we understand that we have to feed the dog meat. It's just necessary. It's just necessary to the way animals live. And you know what else is necessary to the way animals live? To ejaculate into their mouths.
Yeah, you know, well, we ran out of food and we didn't feel like going to the store, so we gotta get the protein in somehow.
I remember when you told me about them, you just explained it. And you're just like, yeah, have you ever had anybody ask you if the moon's artificial? And I'm like, what? And you're like, they think the moon's artificial. And before I can even question what that means, you just start theorizing because it had clearly been weighing on your mind since you had heard it. You're just like, does it mean that somebody put it up there? Or just...
Who has the time and resources?
Steve Jobs. He's just like, I want the moon.
Well, they've had to have done that. Like, when did humanity really begin? Like 30,000 years ago? Who fucking then had the time or the resources or the means of putting the fucking moon up there? People worship the moon.
Emperor Nero was just like, I want something up there.
Something to an attunement to my greatness.
You know, in the morning we got sun and it's nice. You got thing up there, but nighttime no thing.
I don't get it.
We could have night sun.
Like, they must have got that shit from like Ancient Aliens or something, because like the other day my grandfather was watching Ancient Aliens in the background. He's like playing solitaire or
And
something.
he turned around. He's like, "Hey, Steve, did you know the moon's artificial?"
And like some fucking asshole in the Ancient Aliens documentary was like, "Oh, the moon's artificial." It's like, there, that proves it.
Are you sure it wasn't just your neighbor? You just look over, it's just your neighbor on TV. It's like, yeah, the moon's artificial. And it's actually a little known fact that I fucking hate guys named Steve.
Well, yeah, it couldn't have been him because he had muscle mass, and some other guy was fucking his girlfriend.
Anchor arms.
Well, yeah, no. He had muscle mass, and no one else was fucking his girlfriend or coming into his dog's mouth. It's pretty telling when you tell somebody about someone and they think the moon is artificial. Isn't the most out there thing about them. It's like that John Mulaney joke where it's like, hey, I'm new in town and it gets worse. Dean Cain was a rapist on the show.
But yeah, it was, speaking, this is all fucking, I'll probably just even cut this out, but fuck it. My dad was watching one of those British shows, I don't know if it was Big Fat Quiz of the Year, and James A. Caster was on, and he's telling, it's like, oh, how was your year? It's like, oh, it was pretty good, you know, I actually learned to play chess. Or like, oh, what was that like? It's like, oh, it was great, you know, I just started playing chess in the basement with this one guy, he was like this maintenance man, and he knew how to play chess, and he just keeps going, it's clearly the plot of the Queen's Gambit. And then he's like, yeah, and then maybe I won. I don't know, I didn't finish it. And I was just talking to my dad, I'm like, you ever seen that John Mulaney bit where he's talking about the ballroom and he just keeps getting distracted by explaining the plot of The Fugitive? But, yes, so Steve had crazy neighbors who were like that crazy teacher lady. And thus concludes this tangent that we will almost certainly reference and come back to at some point, because goddamn, how the fuck that's just tailor-made comedy. My neighbors think the moon's artificial. Like that's one of those things that when you say it to someone, you're like, what is that? I know what all those words mean, but together, what are you saying? That's like that sentence is the equivalent of sitting through Tenet. It's just like, wait, what does it mean?
Yeah, just going to Subway and watching someone deconstruct a sandwich right in front of you. What the fuck?
I love two separate people, just both had jokes. Granted, they were months apart. But this one's just like, what if Kenneth Branagh just threw up an entire meatball sandwich? And then the other one's just go watch Tenet. There's a scene where they go to Subway. Is what I would say if this were a perfect world. But, yeah, so I guess that pretty much closes off that tangent, and I'd say that pretty much closes off the episode. So, otherwise we'll be here for 3 goddamn hours just being like, what did they mean? What do they mean artificial?
I don't get it. What do they mean?
Why does the moon look like Vegas? But anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. We are, I was going to say, do we want to give a hint about the next episode? But we usually decide episodes like a few
day
minutes.
off.
Yeah, pretty much. We might be doing something might relate to a future pitch, but we might be playing a little bit of the Mad Max video game because we might be doing a Mad Max pitch. I was going to bury the lead, but there's literally no other reason we'd be doing anything. So, yeah, we might be playing that and might put that up here. And maybe we'll put like I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're going to do an episode for our own Mad Max sequel, and maybe throw in another pitch in there. We'll do a video where we play the game and just give our thoughts on that, and marvel at the fact that the Steam controller setup doesn't let you rotate the camera while you're walking. And then we might do a video on my channel talking about just the Mad Max. Might do another one of my franchise retrospectives, except it might be both of us just talking about the Mad Max movies, because I've seen all of them and Steve's seen 2 of them.
Yeah,
but you've seen the 2 worth seeing, I'd say. Thunderdome's fine, but
it's pretty okay.
It's weird. It's more of a, hey, Mad Max found these kids. The movie's gonna be about Mad Max helping these kids deal with it. Like that one might even be PG-13. But anyway, so a little hint about stuff that might be coming in the future. We might be doing future episodes. I might be cutting some of our Christmas, or talking about the Christmas movies into videos for our channel and stuff like that. So more shift shows, a bunch more stuff coming out. We're gonna try and do a lot of cool stuff in 2021, more playthroughs and stuff like that. And as soon as we can find a way to make it like interesting and sort of stick out from the crowd. So stick out from the proud.
Yeah,
we want to stick out from the proud family.
proud family.
But so anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you stick around with us throughout this year, and you get to see our takes on things weeks after they happen. Because we're lazy fucks.
It's true.
But thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and comment down below and stuff like that. You can check us out over on Twitter or on Instagram. We've also got, our RSS feed. We're on TuneIn. We're on Spotify. We're on whatever the fuck Google's called. We're on whatever the fuck Apple's called now. We don't even know what they're called, but we're on it. So you can go check all that out, and thank you so much for listening. If you're listening, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching, and
listening.
Yes, and technically you are doing both, unless they just muted it and they just have it on to like play through their window and convince their neighbors that they're not having sex. If you put us on while you're engaging in intercourse, that's bad. Thank you, but that's also bad. That's not a good omen. That's like first day, you want to turn on the pitch shift?
Yeah, we should make it like an ASMR, but it's just us watching you through the blinds.
Well, let's close out with a little ASMR. It's just like, thank you for watching Pitch Shift. It's been very good to make a pitch for you. I'm having to talk into 2 different mics because I don't know which mic I'm going to use, because last time I only ended up using one of them.
I'm gonna chew on this pack of cigarettes.
Welcome to our Nostalgic Renegade ASMR. Here is Doug Walker loading a gun. But anyway.
Here's Doug Walker sucking James Rolfe's cock.
Got a grapefruit, your Rolf.
Got a grapefruit, that nerd.
So thanks for watching. Sorry, because this will probably be one of the longest episodes of the show, purely because we devolved to talk about something that had nothing to do with anything. But we hope you enjoyed it. So thanks so much for watching, guys, again, and we will see you in the next one.
Say goodbye, Brendan.
Oh yeah, say goodbye. I already forgot the terrifying puppets here.
That's what he wants you to believe.
It's probably a lot harder for all you to do. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Please miss my taint on the way out.
Oh, we didn't even talk about how he was sexually